Elon Musk's legal battles often make headlines, but his influence behind the scenes is even more intriguing. In the Twitter versus SEC case, a judge unexpectedly reversed a ruling that initially favored regulators. Critics argue Musk's legal team, financial power, and public pressure played a role. High-profile figures can sway judicial outcomes through relentless appeals, media narratives, and political connections, raising concerns about fairness in the justice system. Jeff Bezos and Amazon have faced numerous lawsuits, yet many cases settle quietly or get dismissed. Observers note that Amazon's legal strategy involves delaying tactics and overwhelming opponents with resources. In tax-related cases, judges sometimes rule favorably after intense lobbying. The question remains, does Bezos's wealth create an uneven playing field where justice is reserved for those who can afford the best lawyers? Mark Zuckerberg's Meta has been embroiled in privacy lawsuits worldwide. Despite massive fines, critics argue the penalties are insignificant compared to Meta's profits. Some cases mysteriously stall or end with light settlements. Legal experts suggest that tech giants exploit procedural delays and legal loopholes, effectively neutralizing threats. The judicial system appears ill-equipped to handle corporations with near-limitless legal budgets. The SEC's case against Musk over Tesla tweets took unexpected turns. After initial harsh rulings, the tone shifted and penalties were reduced. Some speculate that Musk's public defiance and loyal investor base pressured regulators. Others believe back-channel negotiations influenced outcomes. When billionaires challenge government agencies, the balance of power often tilts in their favor, undermining regulatory authority. Bezos's divorce case revealed how wealth impacts legal proceedings. Despite high stakes, the settlement was swift and private. Ordinary litigants rarely enjoy such discretion. The ability to hire elite attorneys and mediators ensures favorable terms, proving that money doesn't just talk. It dictates legal realities. This disparity highlights systemic flaws where wealth determines justice. Zuckerberg's legal victories in intellectual property disputes showcase aggressive defense tactics. Small developers often back down due to litigation costs. Even when wronged, they lack resources to fight. This legal bullying perpetuates monopolistic control, proving that courts often favor deep-pocketed defendants. The result? Innovation is stifled, and justice becomes a luxury. Musk's acquisition of Twitter involved multiple lawsuits, yet courts expedited approvals. Skeptics argue that his status fast-tracked proceedings, while similar deals face years of scrutiny. The perception of preferential treatment erodes trust in judicial neutrality. When billionaires receive expedited justice, it reinforces the idea that the legal system serves the elite. Bezos's battle over Pentagon contracts saw legal challenges mysteriously fade. Despite allegations of unfair bidding, courts dismissed claims swiftly. Defense contracts often involve political ties, suggesting that justice is intertwined with power networks. When national interests and corporate interests align, legal outcomes seem predetermined. Zuckerberg's congressional testimonies contrast with courtroom outcomes. While lawmakers grill him, judges often rule leniently. This disconnect implies that public scrutiny doesn't always translate to legal consequences. Billionaires navigate different rules, escaping accountability through legal maneuvering and procedural advantages. Musk's SpaceX enjoys favorable rulings in environmental lawsuits. Despite violations, penalties are minimal. Critics claim political connections shield the company. When billionaires align with government agendas, legal resistance weakens. This symbiosis between power and justice questions the court's independence. Bezos's media ownership raises concerns about legal coverage. High-profile cases involving Amazon receive muted press, while rivals face scrutiny. Media influence shapes public perception, indirectly affecting judicial pressure. When billionaires control narratives, they also shape legal outcomes. Zuckerberg's philanthropy obscures legal controversies. Donations to universities and hospitals coincide with dropped lawsuits. Whether coincidence or strategy, goodwill seems to purchase legal immunity. This indirect influence further blurs ethical boundaries in justice. Musk's defamation cases reveal double standards. When he sues, courts act swiftly. When sued, delays occur. This asymmetry suggests that plaintiff's status impacts judicial urgency, favoring the wealthy and connected. Bezos's union-busting cases face little judicial pushback. Despite labor violations, consequences are negligible. The legal system's reluctance to confront billionaires emboldens corporate overreach, leaving workers powerless. Zuckerberg's antitrust battles highlight judicial hesitancy. Even with overwhelming evidence, courts avoid drastic measures. This reluctance stems from fear of destabilizing tech empires, prioritizing economics over equity. Musk's pay package approvals defy shareholder objections. Judges validate exorbitant CEO compensations, ignoring investor concerns. This trend reveals how corporate courts protect executive interests over stakeholders. Bezos's tax avoidance schemes face minimal legal resistance. Offshore loopholes remain unchallenged, proving that wealth buys legal innovation. When laws bend for billionaires, inequality deepens. Zuckerberg's data privacy fines are mere slaps on the wrist. Compared to revenues, penalties are insignificant, encouraging repeated violations. Without meaningful consequences, justice becomes performative. Musk's tunnel projects bypass environmental reviews. Legal exceptions favor innovation, ignoring ecological costs. This preferential treatment showcases how billionaires rewrite legal standards. Bezos's space ventures operate with regulatory leniency. Safety concerns are overlooked in the race for dominance. When billionaires pioneer industries, laws adapt to their timelines, not public safety. Zuckerberg's metaverse lawsuits test virtual jurisdiction. As legal frameworks lag, tech giants define new rules. This unchecked power lets billionaires shape future justice systems unchallenged. Elon Musk's legal confrontations with the SEC highlight a recurring theme. Regulatory agencies struggle to enforce rules against billionaires with vast legal resources. Despite multiple violations, Musk's settlements often include no admission of guilt, allowing him to maintain his public image. This legal leniency sends a dangerous message. Those with enough money can bypass accountability, eroding public trust in financial oversight institutions. Jeff Bezos's Amazon has repeatedly faced antitrust allegations, yet courts hesitate to impose drastic measures. Legal experts argue that judges fear disrupting the economy by breaking up tech giants. This judicial caution benefits billionaires, allowing monopolistic practices to continue unchecked while smaller competitors are crushed under legal and financial pressure. Mark Zuckerberg's Meta has been accused of suppressing whistleblowers through aggressive litigation. Former employees who expose wrongdoing often face lengthy, costly court battles designed to silence them. This legal intimidation ensures that corporate secrets remain hidden, demonstrating how wealth can weaponize the justice system against truth-tellers. Musk's acquisition of Twitter revealed how legal deadlines bend for billionaires. While typical mergers face strict timelines, courts allowed extensions when Musk requested them. This preferential treatment suggests that judicial processes are more flexible for the ultra-wealthy, undermining the principle of equal treatment under the law. Bezos's Blue Origin has sued NASA multiple times, delaying contracts for competitors like SpaceX. Critics argue these lawsuits are less about merit and more about leveraging legal systems to stifle competition. When billionaires use courts as business weapons, innovation suffers, and public projects face unnecessary delays. Zuckerberg's influence extends beyond U.S. courts. Meta has faced numerous fines in Europe, yet continues operating with minimal changes. Legal experts suggest that fines are treated as business expenses rather than deterrents. Without structural reforms, global justice systems remain ill-equipped to rein in tech billionaires. Musk's handling of Tesla's autopilot lawsuits showcases how high-powered legal teams can sway juries. Despite fatal crashes linked to the software, Tesla has avoided major liabilities. The ability to frame narratives and discredit plaintiffs plays a crucial role, proving that courtroom outcomes often depend on resources rather than justice. Bezos's Washington Post ownership raises ethical concerns regarding legal coverage. Investigations into Amazon's labor practices receive less scrutiny, while rival companies face harsher media exposure. This indirect influence over public perception can sway judicial attitudes, demonstrating how media control complements legal strategy. Zuckerberg's charitable donations coincide with dropped lawsuits and regulatory leniency. While philanthropy is commendable, critics argue it serves as a shield against legal consequences. When billionaires can donate their way out of trouble, the line between altruism and legal manipulation blurs. Musk's SpaceX enjoys exemptions from environmental regulations, fast-tracking rocket launches despite ecological risks. Legal waivers granted to billionaires suggest that progress and profit often outweigh public safety concerns, reinforcing a two-tiered justice system. Bezos's union-busting tactics at Amazon have led to numerous NLRB complaints, yet consequences remain minimal. The slow-moving legal process favors corporations, allowing them to delay rulings until public attention fades. This systemic delay tactic ensures that worker rights remain unenforced. Zuckerberg's data privacy violations continue globally, yet courts impose fines that barely dent Meta's profits. Without criminal charges or structural penalties, these legal actions fail to deter misconduct, allowing billionaires to treat laws as minor obstacles. Musk's public feuds with short sellers have resulted in lawsuits, yet courts often dismiss them quickly. The ability to outspend opponents in legal battles discourages legitimate criticism, creating a chilling effect on free speech when it challenges billionaire interests. Bezos's tax avoidance strategies exploit legal loopholes unavailable to average citizens. While technically legal, these maneuvers highlight how wealth buys access to specialized legal expertise, further widening the inequality gap in justice systems worldwide. Zuckerberg's metaverse ventures operate in legal gray areas, with few regulations governing virtual spaces. As Meta shapes these rules, critics warn that billionaires are effectively writing laws in their favor, bypassing democratic oversight. Musk's Neuralink faces minimal FDA scrutiny compared to smaller medical startups. Regulatory favoritism for billionaire-led companies raises concerns about unequal enforcement, where connections and influence outweigh objective safety reviews. Bezos's acquisition of Whole Foods faced little antitrust resistance, despite reducing market competition. The lack of judicial intervention in such deals reinforces the perception that billionaires operate above standard legal checks. Zuckerberg's suppression of rival platforms through App Store policies has sparked lawsuits, yet courts move slowly. The delay in rulings allows Meta to maintain dominance, proving that legal systems struggle to keep pace with tech monopolies. Musk's Starlink operates globally with minimal oversight, bypassing national telecom regulations. Legal exceptions for billionaire ventures set dangerous precedents, where private corporations override governmental authority. Bezos's space tourism ventures face fewer safety regulations than commercial airlines. This regulatory leniency prioritizes billionaire ambitions over passenger safety, highlighting how influence shapes legal standards in emerging industries. Elon Musk's legal battles over Tesla's stock price manipulations demonstrate how financial power can distort justice. Despite clear evidence of misleading tweets, courts have hesitated to impose severe penalties, fearing market instability. This reluctance signals that billionaires can skirt accountability by leveraging economic influence, creating a system where the wealthy face softer consequences than average offenders. Jeff Bezos's fight against unionization at Amazon warehouses reveals how legal delays suppress worker rights. Even when labor boards rule against Amazon, appeals and procedural tactics drag cases out for years. This legal warfare drains union resources, proving that corporate giants can outlast opposition simply by having deeper pockets and more aggressive lawyers. Mark Zuckerberg's handling of Facebook's role in election interference has led to fines, but no personal liability. While Meta pays settlements, Zuckerberg himself avoids direct legal consequences, reinforcing the idea that CEOs can shield themselves while their companies take the blame. This legal firewall protects billionaires from personal accountability. Musk's repeated clashes with the SEC over Tesla disclosures highlight regulatory weakness. Despite multiple violations, Musk negotiates settlements without admitting wrongdoing, setting a precedent that rules don't fully apply to those with enough legal and financial firepower. This undermines the SEC's authority and public trust in market fairness. Bezos's use of non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, to silence employees showcases how legal tools suppress dissent. Former Amazon workers who speak out face lawsuits, creating a culture of fear. When corporations weaponize NDAs, justice becomes inaccessible for whistleblowers, allowing misconduct to go unchecked. Zuckerberg's acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp faced antitrust scrutiny, yet courts approved them. Years later, these deals are widely seen as monopolistic, but undoing them is nearly impossible. This illustrates how legal systems fail to anticipate long-term corporate dominance, leaving markets permanently distorted. Musk's SpaceX has secured billions in government contracts despite legal disputes over bidding fairness. Competitors argue the process favors Musk's political connections, yet courts rarely intervene. When billionaires and governments collaborate closely, legal oversight often weakens, raising concerns about cronyism. Bezos's battle with the National Labor Relations Board, NLRB, over union votes demonstrates how corporations exploit legal technicalities. Amazon's aggressive challenges to election results delay union recognition, proving that the law can be manipulated to suppress worker movements rather than protect them. Zuckerberg's refusal to testify in international hearings highlights jurisdictional limitations. While European regulators demand answers, U.S. courts offer little support, allowing tech executives to evade scrutiny. This legal fragmentation enables billionaires to play nations against each other, avoiding accountability. Musk's defamation lawsuit against a Tesla critic backfired, yet the case sent a chilling message. Even when billionaires lose, the threat of expensive litigation deters criticism, creating a legal environment where free speech is stifled by financial intimidation. Bezos's purchase of the Washington Post has raised concerns about media independence. While no direct legal interference is proven, critics argue Amazon-related coverage is softened, showing how billionaire ownership can indirectly shape narratives that influence public and judicial opinions. Zuckerberg's Meta has repeatedly violated GDPR laws in Europe, yet fines remain a fraction of profits. Without criminal charges or structural reforms, these penalties fail to change corporate behavior, proving that current legal systems are ill-equipped to regulate tech giants. Musk's attempts to privatize Tesla led to SEC intervention, but the punishment, a temporary chairman removal, was minimal. This light consequence suggests that even when regulators act, billionaires can negotiate soft landings, reinforcing a two-tiered justice system. Bezos's divorce settlement with Mackenzie Scott was remarkably swift compared to typical cases. The ability to resolve high-stakes disputes privately, without prolonged court battles, underscores how wealth can streamline legal processes that are grueling for ordinary people. Zuckerberg's Meta faces lawsuits over teen mental health harms, yet courts struggle to assign liability. The legal system's slow adaptation to digital harms allows billionaires to evade responsibility, leaving victims without recourse. Musk's Neuralink faces allegations of animal welfare violations, but enforcement is lax. Compared to smaller biotech firms, regulatory scrutiny appears lighter for billionaire-backed ventures, suggesting favoritism in legal oversight. Bezos's Blue Origin has sued NASA multiple times, losing most cases yet delaying competitors. This legal strategy, filing weak but time-consuming lawsuits, reveals how billionaires can weaponize courts to hinder rivals, even without merit. Zuckerberg's suppression of conservative voices on Facebook remains a legal gray area. While lawsuits allege bias, courts often defer to platform policies, allowing billionaires to control public discourse with minimal legal constraints. Musk's Tesla autopilot crashes have led to wrongful death suits, yet no recall mandates. The lack of decisive legal action implies that regulators fear disrupting innovation, even at the cost of public safety. Bezos's tax strategies, like funding space ventures to offset income, exploit legal loopholes unavailable to most. This highlights how billionaires shape laws to their advantage, leaving ordinary taxpayers at a structural disadvantage. The growing influence of billionaires like Musk, Bezos, and Zuckerberg over legal systems exposes a troubling reality. Wealth doesn't just buy better lawyers, it bends justice itself. From regulatory leniency to suppressed whistleblowers, the mechanisms of law increasingly favor those with unlimited resources. Without systemic reforms, such as stricter judicial transparency, antitrust enforcement, and campaign finance limits, the scales of justice will remain tilted in favor of the ultra-rich, eroding public trust in the rule of law. The question is no longer whether billionaires influence courts, but whether democracy can survive their unchecked power.